everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's class is going to be a yin yoga sequence for the shoulders and for the upper back. So this one will be great for any desk workers out there or anybody currently working from home who perhaps needs a little bit of a deeper stretch to work into those connective tissues around the shoulder girdle. So you're not going to need any props for this class unless perhaps you would like to bring a block or a cushion, maybe underneath the base of the tailbone, just for our first few postures, which we'll be taking from a seated position. So just make your way into any position that feels comfortable to start, maybe cross legs or maybe sitting back on the heels of the feet. And start by bringing the palms of the hands to the knees and softening the eyelids closed. Begin by taking some time to tune into the pace and the quality of the breath. See if you can begin to invite your inhalations a little bit deeper into the lower belly, filling up the lungs. And as you exhale, see if you can begin to imagine that there's a pair of hands just on top of your shoulders, pressing them down towards the earth. So take some time to visualize the neck beginning to lengthen here as the crown of the head reaches up toward the sky. And every time you take an inhale, see if you can sit up a little bit taller, lengthening through the spine, and with every exhalation, imagine that your shoulders are growing heavier. We'll take 3 more rounds of breath all together, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. One more time, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. So gently begin to blink the eyelids open. We'll stay in a seated posture and we're going to bring the fingertips and clasp them behind the back. So making a fist with the hands. See if you can press the heels of the hands, the palms of the hands close together. And then start to draw the elbows towards one another behind the back. And as you do so, start to press that fist away from the nape of the neck, drawing the knuckles down towards the base of the tailbone. So you should start to feel a little bit more length through the neck here, a little bit more space opening up in the chest. See if you can breathe open through the collarbone. And as you exhale, if it feels nice, maybe to begin to drop the chin towards the chest. That can help to take the release a little bit deeper into the neck. So this is yogi's choice. If that feels too much, you can keep the chin parallel to the earth and keep the gaze forwards. But whichever variation you're taking with the head and the neck here, I would invite you once again to soften the eyelids closed and turn the attention inwards. Every time you inhale, see if you can create a little bit more space in the body. And every time you exhale, see if you can surrender to the shape. Maybe soften a little bit deeper. If this is your first time practicing yin yoga, we will be holding each of the stretches today for about 3 minutes at a time. So this helps to take the stretch away from the superficial muscle and deeper into the connective tissues surrounding the joints. So this can better help to heal those connective tissues and also to promote a deeper sense of flexibility. It can also help to increase mobility and heal from injury. So the longer we stay in these postures, the more space you may begin to notice is beginning to become available for you here. So be nice and patient. The key with yin is not to come too deep into the stretch too quickly. Take your time, and every time you exhale, maybe a little bit more space becomes available. And maybe you can soften a little bit deeper into the stretch. Maybe you notice the head beginning to grow heavier. Finding some more length here through the arms and through the back of the neck. Take 3 more deep rounds of breath at your own pace here. If Ujjayi breath is in your practice, maybe begin to find that audible rasp of the breath at the back of the throat. At the bottom of your next exhale, nice and slowly release the arms. Maybe bring the palms of the hands back to the knees and take 1 or 2 cleansing breaths. Just experience that rebound sensation through the arms as the circulation rushes back into the limbs here. And we're going to stay seated for our next posture too. We'll take eagle arms. So begin by bringing the right arm up in front of the face and loop the left arm underneath. So option number 1 is to bring the backs of the hands to touch here if this already feels intense. Option number 2 is to wrap the arms around again and bring the palms of the hands here to touch in front of the face. So I'll move to the side so that we can see this a little bit more clearly. So you might start with the elbows a little bit lower in space, particularly if you have any tenderness here in the shoulders or in the upper back. And as I mentioned before, we'll stay here for a few minutes, so there's no need to rush into this posture. As you inhale, see if you can visualize the upper back broadening here between the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, see if you can drop the shoulders down and away from the ears. Find some more length in the neck. So the longer you stay here in this posture, the more space you might begin to notice is becoming available. So as we did in our previous posture, maybe you start to be able to come a little bit deeper. As you inhale, maybe you can start to press the elbows a little bit higher in space. Or maybe begin to press the fingertips further away from the eyes. So once again, maybe soften the eyelids closed once you find a position that feels comfortable to stay with the breath. And if you begin to notice your attention wandering here, or you start to feel a little bit fidgety in the body, that's perfectly normal with this particular style of yoga. This is challenging us to find some peace, find some stillness, even find some comfort in the discomfort of these stretches. Maybe see if you can lift the fingertips up a little bit higher. Every time you exhale, see if you can surrender any muscular engagement that doesn't need to be working here. So maybe the shoulders are beginning to creep up around the ears. See if you can draw the shoulder blades down the back towards the waist. We'll take 3 more rounds of breath at your own pace here. Maybe see if you can find that audible rasp of the breath at the back of the throat. At the bottom of your next exhale, release the hands down to the knees. Take 1 or 2 cleansing breaths. Once again, allow that circulation, that rebound sensation to rush back into the arms. Absorb the effects of the stretch. And we'll take the same stretch to the opposite side. We'll sort of pivot round in space a little bit here so we can see more clearly. So this time we'll be lifting the left arm up in front of the face and wrapping the right arm underneath. So it might feel a little bit different on this side. So if you experience some more tightness in the shoulders here, option to modify by bringing the backs of the hands to touch, or option to wrap the arms again and bring the palms of the hands to meet in front of the face. So once again, be nice and patient with this one. Take a few cleansing breaths just to feel your way into the upper back. Every time you exhale, allow the shoulders to drop down and away from the ears, and see if you can begin to find that peace and that stillness again in this stretch, the same way as we did on the opposite side. Maybe soften the eyelids closed, turn the attention inwards. Become aware of any muscles that are working or engaging here that perhaps don't need to be. And see if you can mindfully, consciously soften these areas of the body. So maybe that's the biceps in the arms, or maybe that's somewhere in the upper back. Maybe some muscles around the shoulder girdle or between the shoulder blades are tightening up here and preventing that space from becoming available. As you begin to find some softness here in this posture, option to begin to stretch a little bit deeper if that feels nice and available to you with the breath. Maybe inhaling to lift the elbows a little bit higher. Maybe exhaling to press the fingertips a little bit further away from the face. So notice how this feels in the elbows and the shoulders. If it feels like the muscles are working too hard, maybe drop a little bit lower. And we'll take 3 more rounds of breath at your own pace. See if you can find that audible rasp of the inhale and the exhale at the back of the throat. At the bottom of your next exhale, gently unravel the arms, bring them back to the knees. Take 1 or 2 cleansing rounds of breath. Allow the shoulders and the upper back to soften. And if you're using a block or a cushion here, start to remove that from beneath the base of the tailbone. Place that to one side. We're going to make our way onto our hands and knees and prepare to come back into child's pose. So walking the knees a little bit wider towards the outer edges of the mat, bringing the big toes to touch, and then start to sink the hips back down toward the heels of the feet, spreading the fingers wide and extending the arms long. And start to drop the forehead down towards the earth. If it comes all the way down, that's great. If it already feels too much for the upper back, maybe see if you can just hang the head heavy between the arms. You've also got the option to bring your block or your cushion back onto the mat and just use it as a prop for the forehead here. Maybe as a little bit more space begins to become available, you find that you can take that out of the way. And maybe you can sink a little bit deeper with each and every round of breath. So because this is a yin practice today, start to soften the elbows towards the earth once you arrive. Allow the upper body to become soft, and every time you inhale, see if you can broaden the upper back, find some more space between the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, see if you can allow the chest and the belly to drop down towards the earth between the thighs. And with each new round of breath, see if you can allow your inhalations to draw further down the spine, all the way down into the lower back, so that the lower belly begins to expand with the breath. And as you exhale, visualize that breath climbing back up the spine, releasing through the nose. Begin to scan the body, notice the areas that are making contact with the earth beneath you. Experience that grounding sensation in the body as you feel supported here by the earth. Maybe with time the tailbone begins to drop a little bit further back towards the heels of the feet. And maybe you begin to experience a little bit more length in the spine. Take 2 more rounds of breath at your own pace here, finding that audible rasp of the breath at the back of the throat. On your next inhale, just lift slightly higher in space, press down into the left palm, and start to loop the right arm through the space between the left knee and the left hand. So we're dropping that arm all the way through. This is a variation on thread the needle, so we don't want to take this into a twist. We want to square the chest and the shoulder girdle back to the earth and start to sink back into your child's pose. Releasing through the back of the right shoulder here. If it feels too intense, you're welcome to lift a little bit higher in space. With each and every exhale, see if you can begin to surrender the weight of the body over that right arm. Soften the back of the right hand into the mat. And see if you can feel that grounding sensation all along the outer edge of the right arm. Sinking the front of the shoulder into the earth. Allow the body to become heavy again, surrendering to the stretch. And as you find your way back to the breath, see if you can take 3 more rounds at your own pace. Gently start to inhale, work your way back up, release that right arm, bring the right palm forwards. If you've got a little bit of height here again, we'll work our way to the opposite side. So looping that left arm through now, keeping the chest and the shoulders as square as possible as you reach the left fingertips as far away from the body as possible. And then releasing the weight of the body back down towards the earth. See if you can relax the chest over that left arm and press the back of the left arm down into the earth. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades and see if you can soften the base of the tailbone back down towards the heels of the feet. Every time you exhale, see if you can allow the body to grow heavier. Releasing the weight of the upper body over the left arm. Pressing the back of the left hand down into the mat. And once you find some stillness in this posture, see if you can allow yourself 3 more rounds of breath at your own pace. On your next inhale, gently start to lift the head, lift the chest, re-extend that left arm towards the front of the mat. And we're going to start to shift the weight of the body forwards. Walk the knees back in so that the legs are parallel to one another. And start to drop the pelvis down to the earth. Walk the arms out in front. And here we want to stack the elbows underneath the shoulders. Forearms come parallel and fingertips spread wide. See if you can find an inward rotation of the thighs. So we're rolling the inner thighs in and up towards the sky. This is a little bit more active than many of our yin postures. So we want to make sure that we're pressing down through the elbows so that we can stay long through the spine and long through the back of the neck. As you start to notice the muscular engagement working a little bit less in this posture, you might start to notice the shoulders creeping up around the ears or maybe the chest collapsing down towards the earth. So see if you can just check in to keep that physical reminder there in place to activate through the arms. And finding a little bit of activation here in the legs can help too. You can press down a little bit more firmly through the tops of the feet. So find that sensation of shining the chest, the heart space forwards towards the front edge of your mat. Drawing the shoulders down and away from the ears and the shoulder blades together and down towards the waist. Maybe soften the eyelids closed again here. And you're welcome to keep the chin parallel to the earth. Or if it feels nice again to release through the back of the neck, you've got the option to drop the chin down towards the chest and find a little bit more length here through the cervical spine. Take 3 more rounds of breath at your own pace. bottom of your next exhale, start to release the forehead to the earth and extend the arms back. Turn the palms up to face the sky. And just allow the shoulders to become heavy, to sink down towards the earth, just for a couple of recovery breaths here. Experience that rebound sensation all the way down the arms. We're going to take one more stretch for the shoulders here from our prone position. So start to extend the left arm out to the side, palm faces down towards the earth, and we're bringing the arm perpendicular to the long edge of the mat. From here, bend into your right arm and press the right fingertips down into the earth, right beside the right shoulder. From here, bend the right knee, bring the right heel in towards the seat bone, and then start to roll onto the left side of the body. So you can press down into the fingertips here if you need to, and then soften the left ear down to the ground. And if it feels comfortable, you can then bring the right toes down to the ground behind that left knee. This can help for a little bit of extra support, or if you feel comfortable here, once you arrive, you can extend that right leg straight and stack the right hip on top of the left. Try to make sure that the head and neck are as neutral and soft as possible here in this stretch. And if this feels really intense, then maybe just stay here with this variation on the posture. If as you breathe you start to notice a little bit more space become available, you're welcome to ground that right foot flat to the earth and maybe even float the right arm up towards the sky. Release the pressure from the right fingertips. And for an even deeper stretch and to take this opening all the way through the front of the chest, you can try dropping that right arm back in space, allowing gravity to do the work for you here as the fingertips of both hands draw a little bit closer towards one another. So yogi's choice here, take the variation on the stretch that feels comfortable in your own body. Take 3 more rounds of breath at your own pace. On your next inhale, gently begin to unravel. Firstly, by bringing the right fingertips back to the mat. Secondly, by releasing that right leg. And gently rolling the pelvis back down towards the earth. Slowly draw the left fingertips back in towards the body. Bring a bend into the elbows and release through the shoulders. Maybe drop the forehead down for a recovery breath here. We'll take that same stretch to the opposite side. So extending the right arm along, the palm of the right hand flattens down towards the earth and bring that right arm perpendicular to the long edge of the mat. So dropping the right ear down to the earth now, bringing the left fingertips to the ground outside of that left shoulder. And bend the left knee so that the heel of the left foot begins to draw in towards the seat bone. As you inhale, maybe press lightly into the fingertips, see if you can start to stack the left hip on top of the right, and then option to bring the left toes down to the ground behind the right knee. Find a little bit of extra support here in the lower body as you breathe open into the front of that right shoulder. Find some more space in the chest. Once again, if this feels uncomfortable for the hips, you're welcome to stack the legs one on top of the other, left hip on top of right hip. Or you're welcome, if some more space starts to become available to you, to flatten the sole of the left foot completely to the earth. Find a little bit of a deeper stretch here. And if this stretch feels intense enough, keep the left fingertips on the earth. Otherwise, you can begin to extend the left fingertips toward the sky. Maybe broaden through the collarbone as you reach the fingertips up. Or maybe if you want to take it deeper, you can start to drop the left arm back in space and allow gravity to do the work for you here, drawing the fingertips of the left hand down towards the right. So feel that deep sensation of opening through the front of the body, and take 3 more rounds of breath at your own pace. On your next inhale, start to unravel. Bring the left fingertips back down to the earth. Stack the hips and roll the pelvis back to a neutral position. And start to bend that right elbow back in towards the body. Maybe drop the forehead to the earth for a recovery breath. And then ground the palms of the hands flat to the earth. Press your way back up to an easy seat. So you're welcome to bring the block or the cushion back beneath the base of the tailbone here. As you find your way back, bring the opposite foot in front this time. Return the palms of the hands to the knees. And sit up nice and tall. Take some time to tune back into the body and into the breath. We'll take 3 final rounds of breath all together, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. One more time, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Take one final deep inhale to float the arms up and overhead, connecting the palms at the top. And exhale to bring the hands to heart center. Tilt the chin toward the chest. And inhale to open your eyes. Namaste.